I had an idea for a pair of earrings, and I realized as I started deconstructing a pair to repurpose the pair that I probably should go ahead and film it. This is my crazily chaotic workspace, and I have like tons and tons of beads. This is a fraction of what I've got, and I have a large stash of vintage jewelry that I'm always buying for repurposing, and this is all stuff that needs to be put away properly. I've got containers for most of the stuff to fit in, and I need to get busy and put it away. Anyway, I was scrolling through Pinterest the other day at my literal thousands of jewelry pins for inspiration, and came across a pair of earrings that I don't know if I can find the reference photo for, because again, like I said, I have thousands of jewelry pins. But what it prompted for me was repurposing. I picked these earrings up a couple of months ago at a garage sale for $1/4, and they're just a cheap filigree copper tone piece of metal with a patina on them, and I thought they were cute, and I've almost worn them a couple of times, but then it just didn't quite work. It wasn't just enough for my taste. They're cute, but they were lacking something. So then I had the idea to put an embellishment on top of them, and I may add some dangles to the bottom. I'm not 100% sure. We'll see how I feel about them once I get this on there. So I have a pair of earrings that are vintage, and these are bent because I started taking them apart and I stopped myself. And they've got like rhinestones and stuff. The one that I've already pried the back off of is missing a rhinestone, but it doesn't really matter. So I use my pliers and take the back off of this, which I just wiggle my pliers back and forth gently until I get the whole thing to kind of pop off. Usually the glue is old enough that it will release, and in the case of this pair, it did successfully release. So I have a flat-ish surface to glue from. So then I'm going to attach these to the center of these earrings, because I went through my stash and I came back to these. Are actually the first ones I picked up. I have some silver ones that I thought also looked okay, but these are lighter, and these are the ones I gravitated for originally, so this is what I'm going to go for. So I'm going to finish prying this off. I don't have a way to film my work. Sorry for the close-up of my hand. So I'll have to pause the video and come back and show you my progress once I get them glued. Okay, I have a very janky setup holding my camera in place, but here we go. I'm using E6000, and I have, let me show you what I've got here. I have this sad looking old plastic bag because I want to protect my bead tray. I want to protect my work surface from glue, because when you're gluing to filigree, which I've done quite a few, and hundreds of times probably at this point, it's going to seep through, and you want to get enough glue on here that you're getting good adhesion, so you're going to have some bleed through. You don't have to go crazy with it, but you also want to make sure it's not going to fall off. So I'm going to glue this one in the center here. Get it pressed down really well, and then glue. This stuff is toxic. You're not supposed to get it on your skin, but well, it happens. I don't think it's gonna kill me. I'm sure there's other things I'm ingesting or putting on my skin that'll probably kill me first. Anyway, all right, so there's the rest of my glue. Also, if you're not used to working with E6000, the only reason I'm laying this down with the lid off is because this tube is almost empty. When this tube is full, it is going to just keep pouring out once you've squeezed it. So be mindful of that if you're new to E6000. Because, yeah, you have to put the lid on it immediately. Let's see, I want to make sure I got that lined up because this one's a little crooked. What I do after I get them glued on, and I'm waiting for my items to dry, is that I'm going to give this a little bit of time. Excuse me. And then when it dries, I as it's drying, I will come in and shift it around on the plastic so that it doesn't get just completely glued to the plastic. But anyway, these are gonna have to dry for a few hours, so I will come back when they're set enough that I can work with them again, and then I'll make a decision on whether or not I'm gonna add anything to the bottom. All right, these are not completely dry, but I think they're dry enough for me to work with, and hopefully I can stay in frame. Okay, so this is what I've decided on. I think that I like this look with, where am I? These little dangly pearls. I'm going to put one on each side. And then I want to put one larger one in the center. But I have these cute little like copper toned bead caps. The air conditioner just came on. Sorry for the extra noise. And I think I want to put one of these on the larger ones. I haven't tried it yet, so we'll see if I can make it work. I'm not sure how large the holes are in these, if I want to try to work it to the top or the bottom. So I have some copper colored head pins, and I'm not sure if I want, because this would look cute at the bottom, but it kind of depends on the hole in the bead and the head pin. Okay, so there's one option. Or uh-oh, where'd my bead go? Oh, here it is. Right in front of me. Or I can do it this way. I'm not sure. I don't know which one I like better. I think they're both cute. I don't know, maybe the distance between the copper is probably better. So putting it at the bottom, since it'll fit on the head pin. Okay, so we'll try that. That's cute. Okay, so I need to, I don't need this. Should be good. Now, I don't necessarily do this the right way. There is a proper technique to this where you bend the whole thing over. The problem I tend to run into is the head pins can sometimes be a little stiff and hard to get a good sharp angle right at the bottom. So I do it the way I taught myself, which is not exactly accurate. And it does make a dent in my fingernail. So I'll show you the right way in a minute. But this is my self-taught, like high school me, trying to figure out how to get that bend in the wire. So I make my loop close to the edge as I can get, and then I bend it back, which again, like I said, is not the proper technique, but it does give you a nice clean loop. Actually, so this is a little bit big, so you can just reopen it and cut off like a really tiny bit of this, and then reshape your loop. So if your loop is a little big and it's not neat and tidy and not cohesive with the rest of them, you can just open it back up a little bit and take a smidge off and get yourself a tighter, smaller loop. There are tools to make these loops with. I do not own one, so I do all of this the hard way. So let's see. You're supposed to do this. My problem is I tend to cut the head pin off first, and then I realized that I needed to do this first. So there's a bit of a learning curve even for me at my age. So I'm trying to keep this centered. I don't think I'm doing a very good job. So then you come back. Where am I? Too close. All right. don't have my glasses on. So my eyes are not focusing the way I need them to, but that's not bad. Okay. There we go. That's not a bad loop. Okay, so now I just have to do the other one. That's the correct way. But if you do what I tend to do and cut the head pin off before you bend it, you can cheat and use your fingernail. Like I said, it's not the correct way to do it, but... And I don't have those fancy pliers that give you that nice flat edge or whatever, but it's alright. You don't have to have fancy tools. Alright, so there's my loop. Can't see which way I'm holding it. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to put, let's see, I have one of these open already. This one. So I'm going to, whoops, in frame would be good. Put this right here. Eventually. I guess I'm going to have to open it some more. Well, it would help if I pick up the right one. This is not the one that's open. I need my glasses on, clearly. Well, and the reason I don't have them on is because I struggle with vertigo. And a lot of times, putting my readers on literally makes me motion sick. So, I'm better off struggling without them. Okay, let's see if I like that, if that's too close. I hung it on there a while ago, and I thought it looked okay. But I might not like it there. I might have to move it up one. We'll see. So, yeah, that's too close together. And that's going to fall off because I haven't closed it yet. So we're going to have to move this one up one. I thought maybe it would work down here, but it's not. And I can't see. Okay. So back up a notch to the next section, which would be here. Okay. And then here, yeah. Where am I? Focus. There we go. That's pretty cute. Okay. So I'm going to put these together off camera so y'all don't have to see me fumble around and finish them. And then I'll show you when I'm done. And they're done. I think they turned out super cute. So these are upcycled garage sale and thrift store finds. And I think they're adorable. I'll probably do another little beauty shot, you know, to show you what they look like without all this noisy background.